Hey guys, it's Matt. I promised an absolute back to the basics today, and I think we'll get into that, but not in the way I thought. There was a comment in the last video. Conspiracy is becoming more mainstream. Of course, it's completely mainstream at this point, but the topics that we would consider in the weeds, or where it wanted to trap us 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. So wherever we were trapped, and I think if you didn't get out of those weeds, you wouldn't be here. That's where it's trapping or trying to trap not the complete general population, but hundreds of millions of people are trapped on bullshit conspiracy topics, and that we basically climbed out of that bog 7 or 8 years ago. So first, two quick things. One, people in certain parts of the country are looking at me dressed like this. Like, what is it? What is going on? It's pushing June. Where the hell is he? Maybe he is coming from some secret base in Nome, Alaska. It was 49 or 50 degrees here early this morning. All the windows open. It's freezing in here. So yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia, as you know. It's cold. I don't know what to tell you. I know people in certain parts of the country going, "What is this? Where's he doing this from?" It probably touched 49 degrees like at 4 in the morning. Anyway, the windows open, and I like this. I do. I don't like the high heat. Anyway, the other thing is I feel somewhat ashamed. I almost didn't bring you this video. I had my finger on the button. It's like the easy button for Staples. Remember that? That was easy. I had to terminate the entire channel, to wipe it out. I feel so ashamed and embarrassed because I've been exposed. Apparently, I've been exposed by the trolls. What does that mean, to be exposed? So I haven't really been in this house since 2002. What is that? Would be pushing 24 years? Is this some sort of set or something? What does it mean to be exposed? Just a few minutes on this, guys. We'll get into we're going to talk about today very, very serious reciteer topics. I've been exposed for leaving my job in 2002. I did work for another small insurance brokerage, and then going out on my own in the insurance world to try to put food on the table so I could feed my cats. I'm exposed because I tried to sell insurance. So that is I can't think of a bigger sin, trying to actually pay my bills with something that I knew and be able to eat and stay in the house. What else have I been exposed? Oh, I don't believe that all the dope dummy ass players of the NFL are in on it. So let me get this straight. You're gonna turn $1 trillion basically $1 trillion asset, future value, over to a bunch of morons, and I don't want to repeat what I said in that other video, but are they going out studying their plays, taking it all very recitatively, making sure every play is scripted at the right time? No, they go party. I got new Glock. I got new 9mm. I got Glock. I got new bitches and hoes. They go, party. That's who you're trusting. Yeah, that makes sense. They're all in on it. Yeah. $1 trillion asset, future value. That's who you're trusting. And of course, I did say outcomes can be managed. I just said how it would be done with very few people in on it, not the entire list of dope players on every team. And because there is a subscriber that comes and goes here, because most of the players are of a certain skin color, then I've also been considered ist, or ist. Can you say that? I'm also ist, I guess, because I'm just pointing out the obvious. So anyway, let's get into, hi Zara, let's get into why conspiracy now has become the weeds conspiracy, the bullcrap that we don't spend our time on anymore, hopefully. Let's talk about why it's become mainstream, which I think, unless I'm missing something, I think the Notnilc's tactics here are predictable and rudimentary, and then we'll get into some of the back-to-basics stuff that I talked about, or I promised we'd talk about today. So what video pops up before me, I have it here, already 59,000 views. The Peter McCormack show, he has over 300,000 subscribers. The one world government is already here. Guest Simon Dixon. See that? The conspiracy has gone mainstream. Well, to keep you in the weeds in every single topic that it tested on us. We were the guinea pigs for all this. We were the test to now deliver this to the masses, to get them stuck in the weeds for as long as Notnilc can keep them in the weeds, in the conspiracy generation machine, in the reality generation machine, or the false world. Simon Dixon, this guy pops up, and there's little clips if you click on the videos for the Peter McCormack show. I've seen 2 or 3 videos. I don't know who this guy is. I do remember actually covering him in one video. He's got some sort of skull and bones. He's got the skull. I could see people being skeptical of me, and not just some guy in a sweatshirt sitting in the same room for now 20 pushing 24 years. If I had a giant skull and bones, I didn't know there was no deer back here the other day. Ann and others pointed out there's some deer that walked by. I don't know. I ain't no Dr. Doolittle talk to the animals. Instead of the window, if I had a giant skull and bones like Peter McCormack does, I would understand you be skeptical and say these trolls say this guy Matt needs to be exposed. But go try to expose the guy that has the skull and bones behind. Anyway, so look, I don't know whoever's in on it. I know most people are on the Notnilc download of this reality on a frequency. And if it is time for the Notnilc to introduce conspiracy to hundreds of millions of people, if not billions of people, but again, the conspiracy that gets people nowhere, in the weeds, although of course they're going to reintroduce September, of 2001, which I seem to go away from calling it the job application, but I'll get back to it. There's no doubt that when they're ready, that when just enough time has passed that nobody cares, which is basically we're already here, you think they're going to reintroduce that conspiracy and get hundreds of millions of people to see that hadn't seen before? Just groups like us have seen that something's not quite right, and well, of course, Alex Jones followers, a lot of us, however a broad brush you want to use that term, us, we see that of course the official story is absurd. I mean, couldn't be more ridiculous. But you can just sniff it. Of course, the Notnilc will take that. It's still a relatively small group. They will take that to 500 million to 1 billion people when they're ready to introduce the conspiracy or reinvigorate the conspiracy around September of 2001. They'll do this across the board. And okay, let's get right to the and I'll look to your comments, of course, because I was thinking it can't be this simple, can it? It can't be this rudimentary. Why does it want to introduce these sorts of in the weeds conspiracy topics? What we all went through 8 years ago, we climbed out of the bog, climbed out of the weeds. Again, we were the test grounds in terms of the Notnilc learning what works, what doesn't. Although there's a little bit of a problem with that because we are potentially a little bit of a real, different type of spiritual entity, perhaps, than the masses. I'm not sure how much we're going to get into that. But it's reintroducing conspiracy in the weeds. Okay, why? Because the entire reality, it just seems too rudimentary what I'm about to say. I'm missing something. I'll look to your comments. The entire reality is a distraction generation machine. It's a false world. There's very little real that is about this. It's a distraction generation machine to keep a certain type of spiritual being completely on the wrong track or the wrong path for its entire life. So it doesn't get done anything of what it's supposed to, or potentially what it's supposed to learn here. Okay, we've been over that. It's very simple. So, okay, for some reason, the Notnilc is not allowing a good, say, pick one of 1,000 topics. They're not allowing a good Star Wars movie to be made. All right, that was entertainment in the 1980s and 90s, and the renting of VHS tapes and going to the movies and basic sports presentations on TV. That was the extent of its distraction. Well, okay, we could do hours and hours on its other tactics. Its political ruses, its fake wars, of course. But its distraction, maybe it just didn't have access to the arsenal it does today. But for some reason, it's moving on with the nature of its distraction. The introduction of hundreds and hundreds of conspiracy topics that we would consider to be old, or we've been through that. Or you could say, I climbed out of that bog 10 years ago, and now my aunt and my cousins are in the middle of it. Yeah. But is it related to why Star Wars isn't allowed to be good? Is that why is the Notnilc moving on with the next level or next phase of its distraction. Of course, it could make a good Star Wars movie, the same caliber as what we saw in 1977, The Empire Strikes Back. Of course it could. Of course it could. It's all done on purpose. We don't need to go back there. But okay, other than it's just a distraction generation machine, Matt, and that's pretty rudimentary. There has to be something else, and I wouldn't even start this presentation if I wasn't going to deliver or something more than that to think about, whether you think I'm right or wrong. It has to do with the Epstein-Steiner files. As this conspiracy is introduced, oh, by the way, I guess I told you, but just in case, this Peter McCormack show, I did say, but Simon Dixon talking about the one world government. Simon Dixon, Pootie Tang Award. We've been talking about one world system here for almost 10 years. So I think the tactic is this. They will, as people dive into conspiracy or whatever the system will generate for the normies, for now your cousins are into conspiracy, and that commenter said it's becoming more mainstream. Are these positive things, or at this level of conspiracy, are they very dark, negative things? When we were into the financial collapse and what secret society really runs the world and deep states in control, it's all dark. It's very scary to many, many people. And Epstein-Steiner to people at that level, and all these people that were harmed, and no matter what's real and what's not real, it's dark, and it's corruption, and it's scary. And at some point, the Notnilc may be doing this to deliver the savior that will fix it all. So it could be an AI running one world government. It could be, but everything everybody dives into will be that every bait taken by the new first through fifth grade truthers, that they're turning 100,000 regular normies a day are being turned into first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade truthers. They're going to find a range of topics that cater to their interests and needs. That's what the conspiracy generation machine does. It's a false world. No real world could keep fitting or tailor-making conspiracy topics of things people are most interested in and want to dive into. And when they dive into it, there is an endless supply or river of information that leads to even more conspiracy and digging oneself even deeper into the weeds. No real world could do that with 1,000 different topics. But okay, I'm sorry, old guard. There's a few new people here. I need to remind people of how fake this world is. So in a fake world, if you are latched onto a specific conspiracy, like all the players in pro sports are in on it, and if you're latched onto some specific conspiracy, you've lost. I mean, that is as ignorant as it gets, no matter what the little conspiracy you've latched onto. The only thing that can get one out of the bog, or to get you to part to the work and what you're incarnated to do here in the spiritual side, is to take a step back from all of it. Go up to 100,000 feet and look down. And no matter what you see from that vantage point or perspective, if you think it makes sense to go back into this little conspiracy over here that players are faking plays and scripting, and you see how absurd those topics are on a specific or one-by-one basis, when you've gone and looked down at the entire fake world from that 100,000-foot perspective, then you can see in general what it's trying to do, the conspiracy generation machine, the distraction tactics, etc. So, of course, pick a number. 20,000 people a day now are diving into conspiracy topics. TikTok is full of them as well, bringing thousands and thousands more on board per day. All the topics are the scary, dark topics that we were involved in 10, 12 years ago, etc. At some point, if enough people get on board with this and enough people stay at that level, then they will see the world is not what they thought it was. This is one of the first steps that we went through. The world is not what it seems. Bloodlines or families or secret societies run everything, and they actually run the corporations who run the politicians. It's all backwards. Calgon, take me away. This isn't what I signed up. This isn't what it seems, man. We got to fix this. How do we fix this? The people will call for a fix, right? Is that the purpose of sucking them all in? And the Notnilc, of course, and Albert Pike have already planned this out. And I don't really believe a Civil War general has. Just a way of saying they have this planned out a long time ago. So when we bring all these son of bitches into conspiracy, how many are we getting? We're getting 20, 30,000 new a day, or hundreds of thousands new a day. Into the old conspiracies, we put those Matt and these son of bitches, we put them through it 10, 12 years ago just as a test so we could run all the data through our Whopper supercomputer and our digital twin modeling. So now we know how to do it, at least delivering it to the real spiritual beings. There's real spiritual beings on the ship of fools. You may believe there are other types, NPCs, organic portals, etc. So now we tested this on Matt and these son of bitches that thought they were seeing through the ruse when we were just falling for it, of course, 10 years ago. We've all fallen for it. We've all taken the bait. We all admit that. I've admitted that more than anyone else. As long as you come out of it and you start to see the big picture, then that's all that matters. That's ultimately what's important in the end. So we'll have the entire world understanding Peter McCormack show, one world system. This is dark. Okay, I guess I'm being a little repetitive. Then the people will call for a fix. There'll be 25 more Jeffrey Eppenstein or Steiners. And we'll have our fix or our solution for a world that people didn't know existed. We'll have this savior. I mean, who knows what it will be? I mean, I just throw out an AI system. Will they bring that as an impartial way to manage countries using the John Nash algorithms developed, at Princeton for the one world system collusion, that they show you in A Beautiful Mind that the one world system collusion still in a way uses the John Nash mathematical formulas. They just truth drop it in the movie A Beautiful Mind. So I know I've been all over the place, guys. No doubt, what that commenter said in the last video. Conspiracies become mainstream. Well, yes and no. Not the conspiracy that's the 100,000 feet looking down, looking at the reality as a whole, the specific topics, of course. It's all dark, it's all negative, it's scary. And 5 to 10 years of this is maybe they don't want the new Star Wars to be good because they want people spending an extra 10 or 15 hours a week on the conspiracy. How could one movie replace all that? Okay, I'm just saying in general, all of movies. What are people doing at night? Or all the movies have been wiped out in terms of what's good, in terms of franchises that were once beloved. Maybe people are spending an extra 2 or 3 hours a night on these TikTok conspiracy topics when they normally would be watching a movie. Matt, you're not saying that's the reason all movies are bad. I've never thought about it like that. I don't think so, but that is on the table as a possibility. It's all entertainment to the Notnilc. Where do they want people spending their time? On the conspiracy topics. They do it long enough and get enough people and see how dark it is, they will call for a fix. The fix will be positioned as a savior, of course. What's the timeline on this? Who knows? The Notnilc is very, very patient. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, who knows? Will they use a intended collapse of the U.S. dollar to initiate the one world currency system? They have all that ready to go. When it happens, don't be scared by it. Just put your feet up, smile, relax, watch videos about every single running back of the NFL being in and it faked plays, every single play. Watch all that bullshit as an entertainment if you want. But as the currency collapse is going on, it will be the scariest thing in the world. The banks will be shut down. It will be nothing to be scared of. It will be all by design. They have to make it look good. So the new currency is accepted very, very quickly. Well, it will be. All the grocery stores will close for a week, but magically, just when it's getting real bad, things will start to open. And just by coincidence, all the big corporations will have very, very quickly set their systems up to accept the new currency that's now in your phone, the digital one world currency. And you can use it in China. And you could use it in maybe they'll have they have to make it look good. The political, the geopolitics, they probably will still have to make look good. And Russia, we'd like to eventually get Russia the one world system, but they're still under sanction. They have to make it look good. Anybody new go, Matt, you're not saying Russia and China is all part of the one world system. You're not saying that, are you? Yeah, but they'll make it look good. They'll say, Russia, you're collapsing. Nobody's buying your shit ruples anymore. We have the one world system. You can get on it. You can get on board too, but with sanctions, you're gonna have to withdraw from Ukraine. I mean, of course they're gonna. It's all a script. They have to make it look good. But anyway, guys, let me make sure this is still recording. I'm sure there's more to talk about. I'm just looking over on the laptop here, all these guests that are on this Peter McCormack show. And again, the most recent, I said, is Simon Dixon. All these experts exposing the world to the masses. And we don't need to be patted on the back. And I'm saying you saw it as soon as I saw it. I have a platform here. I've had this YouTube channel for a long time. But most people here, or everybody I consider the old guard, they brought it to me. They told me about certain things, and then I told two friends, and so on, and the shampoo commercial, and so on and so on. Many of the old guard here saw it before me, so I'm not saying I need any. No, we all basically went through this at the same time, climbing out of the bog, climbing out of the weeds, and then it's happening all over again. I'm looking at the one world government. The one world government is already here. Simon Dixon will Pootie Tang Award on you. We did this. We're not here to pat ourselves on the back. We knew this 10 years ago. All the stuff that we went through, not in the same way, and certainly not in a way where one could connect the dots and see and view the reality as a whole. Oh, that Notnilc won't have that. It'll be specific, Eppensteiner Steiner type, case by case, topic by topic conspiracy, with no help from the Notnilc, of course, just the opposite. Ever put the dots together, where it's so easy to get where we are, but how many years did we waste? But once you can see it, maybe we'll get in a little bit into the half-page reality. Once you can see it, how false everything is here, you can see these specific conspiracy topics are an absolute, not just a waste of time, what the Notnilc wants you spending your time on. But of course, when it is these conspiracy topics are being introduced to the masses, this is similar, of course, to the revelation of the method and all that stuff that we've looked at, a revelation of the method. Sure, I'm no expert at that, but we all have a general notion. They leak certain things out. And in the past, we thought, well, it's an inflated tire that keeps getting air pushed into it with the pump. And Matt, you have to let air out or it'll explode. There's a little bit of that going on. There's a little bit of that. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit more legitimate in terms of another reason they're doing all this. Because I go back and forth. Because on one hand, you have people like us, people like you, people like me. You have us for years and years talking at the Thanksgiving table, the Christmas, getting together with family, mentioning little conspiracy here and there, what we were involved in, what we were passionate about 8, 10, 12 years ago. And they've heard, there's some black sheep in the family that's been talking about, or they've heard from different sources, and I don't know, there's so much of it that the Notnilc is like introducing it, but on its own terms. And I'm thinking, will that lend credibility? Not that I care, not that you care, that we can get a thank you or an apology from a cousin. Remember what I said eight Thanksgivings ago, and you said I was crazy now? Not that we need that. Of course, we better be way past that in terms of part 2, the work, needing a thank you or an apology. But it's just fun to talk about. We never get it. We won't get it, of course. It'll be something. Well, Matt, what you told us 8 years ago is different than what's actually coming out now. Matt, by you talking about this, you need that sort of praise. No, not in any way. We don't. One of the highest levels of part 2 of the work, or among hundreds of other things we need to do. We don't need to be remembered here. We don't need to be no gravestone, no mausoleum, no. Matt, you'd be fine. Well, your YouTube channel. Who knows how long it could go on after you've departed. Okay, but would I have any issue if somebody just came and hit the delete button on the big day? No. Do I need like a legacy? No, absolutely not. That is what the Notnilc convinces the masses, and it does. The masses do it in small ways. Family. There's a funeral. The family buys it's expensive, right? $12,000 granite gravestone. That's a 1,000-year legacy if that plot's going to be there, and the people feel good that that plot will be there. And our type, I can't speak for all of you, but we don't care one bit about being remembered 1 second after we pass. And the only reason I wouldn't want the YouTube channel to be wiped out is I think, getting people out of the bog, out of the weeds. I think there's some practical advice here, of course, or I wouldn't keep doing that people can use so they don't spin their wheels and waste their time on NFL players scripting every single play while slugging beers on the side. What play are we supposed to run now? Oh, yeah, this one. You don't mess it up, man. He's going to go to the post. You fall down and tie your shoes. Everybody's in on it. Okay. Look, I'd like the YouTube channel to remain, but I don't care one bit. Okay. So, in terms of, we were talking about Notnilc introducing conspiracy to let steam or air out. I don't know exactly my thoughts on that one yet. It will introduce a lot of the same topics we've talked about and we were in the weeds on 10 years ago. Like, of course, at some point it'll bring back the big day in September. But on its own terms, all the conspiracy will seem to be there, but it will now be a master at sucking everybody in on the ship of fools, sucking them in for another 10 or 15 years until the next level of distraction is here. What we thought would already be here, the chip, the Neuralink chip, the VR glasses, the stepping into the virtual world. Maybe 15 years ago, via the chip or the download or the transcendence, the transhumanism, maybe they figured, we need more time. Shit, what are we going to do? Like that meeting where Bill has depicted all the minions here in the meeting together with the floating Baphomet in the form of a monkey. And shit, we're going to have to introduce the conspiracy. We're going to have to introduce the conspiracy to them. We're going to have to give them all the stuff that these idiots like these Matt people talked about. But we'll spoon feed it to them in a revelation of the method type way, in a way that will just distract them. That will distract them for 10 or 15 more years until we have the Neuralink ready and the stepping into the digital world. Well, aren't we taking a risk that we'll get them thinking big, and some of them may climb out of the bog and climb out of the weeds, like Matt and his people did. We're taking in the form of a monkey. They say, the little George Soros in the form of a baboon. We're taking a risk here, no doubt about it. 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 will find their way over to the conspiracy rowboat rowing away where we don't want them. They'll be seeing the reality or viewing the reality as a whole, seeing the distraction as a whole, as a coordinated whole, with one element doesn't understand even their part inside the whole. This isn't helping anything. One element doesn't understand how it's coordinating with another element. But the first grade truther thinks the secret societies are managing everything. Come on. What a joke. What an absolute joke. They are participating in the Notnilc download. I still get crap for saying they download the frequency. If you can't see that the spiritual adversary here is on a frequency, a download, they know not what they do. They don't even understand their little piece of the machinery as part of the whole. If you don't see that, I mean, at least for the people here, you're lost. I mean, how could anybody be here or thinking about reality or who they really are at a channel like this or a discussion like this and still believe that the individual elements of this conspiracy and secret societies and trilateral and it's all being faked over here and this is all coordinated and everything's faked, and it is generally all faked if you back up. But the individual elements aren't aware consciously of what they're participating in. Of course, it's not just NFL players it's politicians. Well, Matt's saying that the top senators don't know anything. Did I say that? People just put words in my mouth. 95% of them, even in the Senate, and of course almost all of the House of Representatives, they know almost nothing. And 90% believe in every bit of the political process, of the vote, of campaigning. Almost no one here, in terms of percentage, half of a half, is in on it. It is a frequency. Those that are still fighting me on that, I'll never be able to convince you. It's you believe it's all phone calls. It's all secret faxes coming in the middle of the night. I mean, last fax machine I remember, was it Man on Fire? Who was involved in that kidnapping of little Pita Ramos, Jordan Kalfas. I think, didn't he go there? He was floating in the pool Was it Mickey Rourke? He's floating in the pool, and a fax came in, right? What was that? Or maybe I'm thinking of Eddie Sakamura in Rising Sun, where a fax came into the senator saying they're going to pin it on Eddie. Matt, we don't care about any of this. It's all done to the first grade truther. It's all done by phone calls, faxes, messages on phone calls. But make sure this is a voicemail from the secret society. Make sure you delete this. Don't you play this on speakerphone. And we're going to have secret meetings. It's all secret meetings. It's all coordination. This and all the hundreds of thousands of things pulled off here. I was going to say per day, per second, pretty much. It's all people. It's all. If the only way around that, if you think that's absurd, is my ignorant notion of frequency download resonance. Okay, yeah, I don't know the exact methods or technologies or spiritual methods, but it's here. Okay, it's here. And our job, part two of the work, more than almost anything else, is to make sure you for your entire life, you find out what frequency that radio station is, where your cousins are, where Donald Trump is, and you move yourself as far away on that from the radio dial, as far away as I guess I'll say it this way, humanly possible, for as long as you're alive. Now we're in the middle of it. We're bombarded by electromagnetic radiation. We're always going to take a little bit of bait here. Matt's been fooled here, of course, but just to try, to be aware of it and to try. I'm not taking the bait on that. I'm not going to make this video in response exactly to what this person said or what that person said. Or I'll mention the Peter McCormack show in general. I had to it, but I don't get into the little petty battles and just that's the bait, that the lure that's being put out before me that I'm not going to take. I'll make little comments here and there, but I'll try the best I can to do part two of the work and be above it. And everything in this reality just tries to bring you down into the lower weeds, into the lower bog. It's not easy. It seems easy at times. Oh, this world's fake, and it is not easy. It's quite an accomplishment to continue to stay, all the way down on the other end of the radio station dial, away from it, and not be pulled back into it. You want to debate your cousin, or what did you just say across the turkey and stuffing? Oh, you don't believe that. Oh, they will act it out to try to pull us back in. And I've taken the bait on that so many times, and I'm ashamed of myself. I don't know if I love that word, but I've taken the bait, as have you. And at this point, guys, if there's no more, I'd like to keep making videos, of course, but if there's no more videos, I mean, you guys, we all know everything we need to know. I mean, just go do it. Okay, returning to the absolute reality basics. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on this, but guys, I talk about the half page. My reality is one or two long run-on sentences at this point. It's very simple. There is a spiritual game being played here of some kind. I don't know what else to call it. A game. I might do a little sidebar. I don't count that as part of the long one or two run-on sentences. A spiritual game. So it wins if it gets you to play the material game. It's that simple. Now, there's more to the long run-on sentence. It covers up the spiritual side like it doesn't even exist. Now, what does that mean? It's not complicated. It just means there's a part of you that's not here, or a part of you that's timeless, a part of you that's not what you think it is. The entire reality, as its main tactic in the spiritual battle, is to, one, get you to believe, or the regular people to believe, there is no spiritual battle. You say, I'm going to be this. Man, how is it a run-on sentence or two if you're going to talk about this for 15 minutes? I don't know. It is. It's all part of one sentence. If I didn't talk about it on the side, maybe one or two people that come here per year wouldn't understand. So it just come, be born. This is all you are. The straw man reinforces that. You're Matthew in all caps, and it's all. This is all you are. The flesh. And it doesn't even, well, what about the spiritual side? Oh, Notnilc says, you want to get involved in that? Oh, there's go find one of these religions over here. There's a church down the road. Go, get. The Notnilc itself doesn't. It pretends it doesn't exist. Spiritual side just means the soul, spirit, something will go on after this short train stop. So tactic number one, it's a sentence, a few words. Get people to play the material game their entire lives and don't even consider the other aspect. And if they do, here's the churches for you. Here, you pick a religion, you paw devils. Here's I'm going to hang the different Christmas balls. You pick one of these. What if I don't really fit into it? You pick one of these right here. You pick one. Now get. Sorry. The other thing it does, to reinforce its first sentence, if that made any sense, it's a fake world that is a conspiracy generation machine for a certain type, a distraction generation machine of a different aspect for a different type of person. It customized distraction. Some people, like we talked about just last video, running with the Joneses or keeping up with the Joneses. They got new washer dryer. We got to get new washer dryer. You got brown liquor. Susie's taking a kid to cello practice. We got to get this kid in cello practice. What's better than a cello? A bass? He can't carry the damn thing. How about a violin or viola? Get that kid to play. Well, I got money. We'll buy a Stradivarius if we have to. We got to one up those Joneses. Okay, man, we don't need a stupid example every single time. This distraction generation machine. If you're in the middle of it, you're in the weeds. It just all makes sense. It's how life is. It's how it's supposed to be lived. If you go back, get out of your hot air balloon as we do, you see the reality as a whole. What is it trying to achieve as a whole? What is it trying to do to the real spiritual being as a whole? Not each individual part or the secret society. What's it trying to do as a fake sport? What's it trying to do as a whole? That's all that matters, truth researchers. How many truth researchers are talking about the reality in general? About reality as a whole? Very few. It's sad. We all should be doing it at this point. Now, certain in the weeds conspiracies can lead you on to other things, and so on and so on. And we all had to go through the bog. Okay, at some point, of course, we all had to get in the weeds and get out. You have to get out. You have to be in. Okay, I know that's obvious to all of you or to the old guard, but it has to be said. The Scarecrow says to Dorothy, I'm not going to put it, I don't know exactly what he says, so I'll just do it in a really kind of crude way. He says, why don't you just effing tell her? He basically says, well, Glinda comes in at the end. Glinda, at the very end, how do I get back to Kansas? Sorry. Scarecrow says, why don't you just effing tell her, bitch? And Glinda laughs and says, she wouldn't have believed me. She had to go through it herself. That didn't come out very good, Matt. I'm not going to re-record. She wouldn't have believed me. She had to go through it. She had to go through this. We had to go through this. I mean, one of the greatest reminders of what this reality is to me is I find myself all the time going, I don't have the experiences you do. I used to, but again, I don't leave the house much. I've been more of a recluse for pushing 2 decades now. But so it's like a big deal to me that I had the 4 cats. I know this is pathetic. I know. Just give me a break. Matt, you don't have life trials compared to me. I know I don't. The hospital for 2 days, that ain't shit, man. I know. It's nothing compared to what most of you go through. It's a big deal to me, some of it. But I look back on, Pam. I had the 2 cats, Pam, just humor me. I don't like that word either in the way it's used. But Pam they're peeing all over Bootsy's peeing all over Pam's house. She has townhouse carpet everywhere. My carpets, I had to cut them all up. Oh, we know this, Matt. She drops them off here. I push all the furniture into piles. I put trash bags down for pee. It's peeing on the wall sometimes. I look back and go, how did I do that? Why did I? I mean, I know why. And I think today, could I do that now? And I go, no. I say I don't like the way this is put either, but I go, I don't know who that person was that went through that. And it's not said right either. Because I couldn't do it now. How do you do these things? But that's not the point, guys. I'm sorry. The point is, how many hundreds and hundreds or thousands of times have we said, oh my gosh, if I only knew what I was getting into there, I could have never, if I knew every bit of it. When Pam dropped those 2 cats off, I'm sorry for the example. When Pam dropped them off, if I could see in the future, trash bags, pee on the wall, piss, this smells because Bootsy's pissing down the side of the baseboard. I would have said, no, there's no way. But you do it, and you go through it, and it's this, I'm sorry, this is life. Exactly the same parallel to life. If you knew what you were getting into, You know, people talk about it's so unfair here because of mind wipe. Matt, the mind wipe proves it's a prison planet. The mind mind midwife wipe proves it, Matt. It's a prison planet. We would know something about who we are. Think about the examples I just said. If we knew what we were getting into here on this earth, think about it. Think about it, man. You and me, we're the same. Think about it. If you knew what you were getting into, shown a glimpse from that guy that was Don Cheadle that was in The Family Man or whatever, we would no way. Hell no. You gave me there's no way I could go down the divorce and the loss and the tragedy and the bootsy pissing on the walls. And if we were shown a glimpse, and it's beyond that, you can't know what you're getting into. We would have never done it. And many of us at this point, we've been through, whatever, 50, I'm 55. We go, I'm not doing it again. That whatever people talk about reincarnation, recycling, the archonic beings swoop down with the bat wings. We're not doing it again. Well, I don't want to speak for you. Many of the old guard get to the point where we go, no way. We have a certain degree. I was almost forced to use the word enlightenment, but I'd never do that. You gave Andy 6 foot of rope. Andy would never do that. I don't like we're not here to be enlightened, but we have a clue as to what this place is, how it works, and we're not doing it again. No way. It's just too difficult. Anyway, we knew what we were getting into. No way we could do this. So that's why we don't know anything, of course. That's why we don't have a sense of what we're getting into. We don't have a sense of who we really are. Well, Matt, we could know who we really are, timeless spiritual beings, but not be given any specifics about the nature of life on Earth. Again, we've been over this. It doesn't work. You know for sure. You remember, I remember the last conversation I had before incarnation and all that stuff that floated out, of which 25% of it I probably don't believe in today. It was made many years before I knew a little bit more what I believe how the world works. So the last conversation, but it's still overall, people found it a lot of fun and interesting. The last conversation before you were born. Let me give you a glimpse as to we wouldn't do it. And you'll remember a little bit about who you are, the timeless spiritual being. If you, on your worst of days, you'll remember that conversation you had with your spiritual friends on the other plane before you incarnated in here. It doesn't work. The whole reality doesn't work. Everything would break down. Must I do that same example? You wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. You wouldn't go into your John Travolta hardware store. You go right to the Odyssey 2001 club. He's taken over again. He's taken over. You wouldn't even do that. You wouldn't go to the Odyssey 2001 club. You wouldn't get out of bed and tell him he dresses like a gigolo. And tell him I'm not stocking his shelves anymore. I just realized I'm a timeless spiritual being. I don't need to go into no hardware store to get those. What did he put the shoe up? Remember John Travolta put the shoe up to the window. We had the same high heels. We wouldn't do anything if we knew who we were. Timeless spiritual being. Then I'm here to remind you, a real spiritual being. And she stepped on the ball. Okay, can it be said too much? It's obvious what this place is. If you look at it as a whole, back up. Something rather low here is very adept. It's a very low thing, but it is adept at the trick. It's adept, whatever that means, at the distraction. And we're still distracted. We're not perfect, but it starts with seeing not the individual elements and the secret societies and the initiates, but what the reality as a whole is doing, with each element participating in. This is why I call it Notnilc. Can't be pointed at. Can't be handcuffed. Can't send it off to jail with no Anthony Weiner and Hillary Clinton. So, okay, that's it. Matt, that was a long one or two sentences. Then it's fun to talk about the specific conspiracies too, but once you are here, there's no point. Well, then what is if you can see that it's all a material trick, then what would space be? What would a mission to Mars be? Even if it was real, even if it's real, it's fake, but it's all fake in this example. Even if there's a real ship, it's still part of this construct, and But there's, you know what I think about this. I think it's a very closed system. And the most fascinating thing to talk about is the scientist, the first grade truther believes like they're in on it. The scientists are gathering up their empirical data. Matt, we've talked about this. I love this topic. The scientists, for the most part, every university research park, they're doing the best that they can. They believe in every bit of it. Whatever their spectrograph over here, I don't know what that is. Their astronomy telescopes and their cosmology and cosmological telescopes. Look, they're bringing in data. And Ellie Arroway was listening. She was listening to through Arecibo. She was listening to the Vega system, and then the big noise came in contact. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And she said, "Set 6 ascent, 5 ascent." Why did she say ascension? That's how you position a telescope? But she also said ascension. So if you don't believe in that bullshit, you're somewhat ascending. I got to go watch Contact again. Anyway, it's all real data collected by scientists believing in every bit of what they're doing, but it's all part of the reality trick. There's nothing out there. If you go out there, Matt, you've talked about this. I love the topic. There ain't nothing out there but information and data. It's like Mike Pfaff is big on this. See through the illusion. Our friend Mike Pfaff, see through the illusion guy. It's just data and information that comes in to confirm the basis of the material trick. Matt, it can't be that rudimentary. It is. It's that rudimentary. That's all there is? Yeah. Yeah, that's all there is. Once you see the material is just the rent-a-car here. Of course, don't say all this shit that we know. We know that. Then you can get into part 2, the work. That just means, what does the timeless aspect need from this experience? It ain't the same for you and me, but you can get in touch with it. What is it? Is it just making sure you tune yourself off the frequency? Is it whatever it may be? Part 3, though, I've introduced less than a year ago, is the final determination for that son of a bitch, Joel, lazy bastard, the son of Joel, the higher self, or oversoul, overlord, more like. You put me in here, you son of a bitch. Determining for it whether it's done, and Tony did allude to this, but he wasn't clear, whether it's done with material incarnations, whether it be reincarnation, recycle, simultaneous incarnations of higher self is what Tony put it. A simultaneous spiritual being is what you and I are, according to Tony. Has hundreds of little bastards running around doing different things, with most of them being like stockbrokers and trading blips and news anchors and falling for every bit of the trick. And you've heard me say this, but Tony said, those over here being fooled, it's actually getting something out of those incarnations as well, Matt. We don't want to believe that, but Tony... So part 3 to me is, Tony alluded to, not Matt, you bow down before everything he said. Okay, no. Okay, but that it can't just get us out on its own, although it seems like all-powerful, whatever. And it's not like you're you and it's it. You're it, like the dream character. Do you mourn the dream character when the alarm clock goes off? No, it just all makes sense. It's not like, I'm me, I'm going to lose my I'm going to lose my individualistic integrity when then the higher self's going to learn, and what do I get? I get nothing. You bastard. We're all the same. Carolyn, who's he? To Jake, he's me. Who are you? I'm him. Have fun. We're all the same. The dream character, it's just you, right? You don't worry about it when the alarm clock goes off. It's just you. It's just you. So, but it might be up to us to determine. Once there's a reason that plays a game here, or there should. I hate the word reward for seeing through the trick. It's hard to record stuff on the fly like this. The reward for seeing through the trick might be we decide. You have to decide in this low place what's going to happen. It can't. Tony alluded to it. It can't be decided. A higher self needs the incarnations to come to certain realizations. That's why the trick is so intense here. That's why it never stops. It's a Terminator, 24/7. So almost nobody that lives out the history of their entire life will be able to see the reality for what it is. Places where I think we're getting very close. At least we have the basics. So because it's Dorothy going home, it was always up to, Glenda said, it was always up to Dorothy. These truth drops are necessary in this reality, maybe by contract. You could always go home, Dorothy. I'm not using the exact words. You don't need these red slippers, these piece of shit Walmart. Where did I get these? Who got these damn slippers? You don't need them? You didn't need to do all this? And the scarecrow, why'd you make her do all this? She wouldn't have believed it. Now she knows there's no place like it's up to us. What makes more sense? It's confirmed by the truth drops of this reality. We, the fooled, once you can become not fooled, can do all the affirmations. We can decide what's what. We decide if we're done here. I believe that, yeah. Or what's the purpose of its trick for? Its never-ending ruse. Its cunning attempt to trick us. Thanks, guys.